second annual Public Facility Finance Conference for Washington State took place September 1990 at a small community in the center of the state. The conference was sponsored and managed by representatives from federal and state agencies involved in the planning, finance, and construction of public works activities. The conference attracted 354 people. Most of them were representatives of local governments interested in obtaining information on how to fund their public works infrastructure projects. Federal and state program managers came to provide information on their funding programs, meet with customers, and locate new clients. Associations, Washington cities and counties, met with current members and identified new applicants for membership. Business folks, banks, and consultants not only found potential customers, but learned valuable information on how to assist their current local government customers. Most all found the networking possibilities outstanding. What did these folks have to say about the conference they were attending? Here are some spot interviews during an after-hours event.
Hi, I'm Rita Kepner with the Corps of Engineers here at the conference in Wenatchee, 1990, and I have with me today Jeffrey Bunnell. Jeff is from Sunnyside. Jeff, can you tell me what you think of this conference?
Basically, it's a very interesting, very informative gathering of a lot of professionals in the field.
Is this a conference where you've had an opportunity to meet some people that are useful to you in your job?
Very definitely, especially the ones at the regulatory agencies and the funding agencies.
And in what specific ways do you think that meeting these people and talking with them will be helpful?
It's given me a chance to find out more specifically what their requirements are relative to our funding needs. It's also given me a pretty good introduction to some of the people on a personal basis, so that I'm not just talking to a voice at the other end of the phone. I know who I'm talking to now, and I can put a face with it.
Is this something that you would feel comfortable recommending to other people in your office or in a similar job position to yours?
Very, very definitely. It's something that I feel that our community is going to get a lot of benefit out of, and I would feel that any other community, large or small, would get an equal benefit from attending.
Larry, you were one of the presenters here at the conference. Can you tell me what that was like and about some of the people that you've met since you've arrived here today?
Sure. Well, I think it was a really good opportunity for us to talk about the specific project that I made my presentation on, that Jefferson County is working on, and it gave me an opportunity. Well, I think probably the best opportunity was to do some networking out in the hall afterwards. As a matter of fact, we found a couple of agencies that are interested in possibly doing pilot programs around the Jefferson 2000 theme that we've started in our county. So in that respect, it wildly exceeds my expectations.
I was just going to say, what did you expect from the conference?
Yeah, well, actually, what I expected was to come down here and talk to the audience and leave.
So you weren't expecting to benefit personally out of it?
No, and I have a feeling that we've made some real important contacts for our program, and that certainly exceeds my expectations.
Well, when you go back to your county and to talk with the county officials there and the other workers in the county, are you going to be able to recommend this conference for next year for someone else?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we sent a staff person from our Public Works Department here to cover the entire seminar. So we have participated in that respect, and I'm sure that I've talked with that staff person, and she said that she's gained a lot of helpful information. So I'm sure that we'll benefit a lot more than we expected.
Well, that's great. What do you think of this conference, and did it meet your expectations?
I didn't know much about the conference before I came here. I came as a last-minute substitute speaker, and I've enjoyed it very much. I've had to do 2 presentations so far, but I've also enjoyed taking the time to sit in on some of the other presentations, and I thought it was the excellent information that's being provided to the local jurisdictions that need grant funding for their various public works projects, and it's great information being provided by the funding sources that are here too. So it is really exciting. I didn't know what I was going to be getting into when I came here, and since I've been here, I think it's a great idea. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's closing speech that will kind of bring it all back together again, looking at the general problem of funding in public works, which is a serious one, and then the panel discussions tomorrow are going to be especially interesting.
Do you think that you made any personal contacts or any network contacts here that are going to be useful to you?
I think I did. I've run into other state agencies and some of the federal agencies that are providing assistance to state and local communities. I've made contact with some people from within the same agency that I'm here with that I didn't know before. So it's been useful all around.
That's pretty amazing, but not too surprising in government work, is it?
No.
Can you tell me, would you recommend the conference for other people for next year?
I think it's a great idea, and it's a clearinghouse of information, and I think they advertise it as a one-stop shopping tour, and I think it ought to be held every year, and I think anybody who's in the business of providing public facilities to provide service to citizens of communities, counties, and the state should be here. It's a good idea, and I think it's going to be needed even more in the future as funding sources become scarce and infrastructure needs become even greater.
Did you know that this was a unique conference, that nobody's doing this sort of thing in the rest of the country?
No, I didn't until I started hearing people on the various panels mention that, and I thought, well, great. I mean, it's a logical thing to be doing, is to bring the funding sources together with those who have the needs, and it's a good idea whose time has come, I guess.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Now, I understand that you're someone that's come to this conference to take a look at it with the thought in mind of duplicating it in another state.
Well, actually, I came as a guest speaker, and just as a sidelight of that, I felt I need to take a look at it and see if it is something that we could do in Idaho. We've done some smaller workshops. In fact, we just did some this last spring that just dealt with water and wastewater, but we haven't tried to combine all the infrastructure financing programs. So this is something I just kind of looking at to see what the tone's like and the response.
Well, I know that this is unique, that it hasn't been done in any other state. Why do you think you'd want to do it in Idaho?
Well, I think that that infrastructure financing is just real important. And in fact, we've just initiated a statewide study to try to establish an estimate of what the current needs are. And I believe that a lot of local governments, and we've got all kinds, we've got water districts and associations and highway districts and counties, and they're all looking to try to find the right combination of financing going to get them to solve their kinds of public works needs.
All right, so you came here as a speaker. Did you personally make contacts and network with people in ways that are going to be useful to you when you go back to your office?
Yes, I did. I did talk with EPA, and EPA, I understand that they are sponsoring this workshop in part, and it might be something that I would explore to see if we could get EPA to help sponsor something similar in Idaho.
Do you plan to come back next year, or perhaps recommend other people from your area come back?
Well, depending on who I talk to, and I will go back and talk with the other state agencies and some of the federal people. In fact, I ran into a federal person here that I hadn't dealt with before from the Bureau of Reclamation, and it's kind of interesting because I think that there's an opportunity there where they have funded irrigation projects before, that they might be able to fund some water system improvements if it's tied into an irrigation system. So I want to visit with those people and see just what the their reception would be to this kind of a program.
Thank you for taking your time to talk with me. You have a different perspective on this conference than anyone else that's around. You're an exhibitor, you've got money that's to be lended, and you're not an agency, you're not a public agency. So how do you fit into this conference?
Well, as I said, we're meeting the people here that are the target market, people that have needs for public works, and these are the people that we need to be out calling on the rest of the year. We're able to tell them what we can do for them, and we're finding a lot of interest out there as people are finding public sources of funds drying up. They're having to look more and more to the private sector, and there's sort of a partnership building as we can supply various types of funding, whether it be taxable or tax-exempt debt, etc. So from that standpoint, being an exhibitor here, we're meeting the target market. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes, and with that target market, we've been able to explain to them, in a very clear and brief way about our new products, such as the new lease purchase program.
Probably one other thing, too, is, just if you have time to attend some of the conferences, you're able to see, your competitors, anything they're offering, and beyond that, just new federal programs that are available. Sometimes you can get a new idea how to put a twist on something to bring two people. One person has a need, and you've talked to somebody else who has a type of funding available, and put the two of them together, and you can start putting deals together. So it's a good environment for meeting people and, like I say, putting together the partners.
Jim, did you meet anyone here specifically that you felt was a good networker or a good contact?
I probably met about a dozen clients, and we have to get back to them next week and meet with them and present proposals on some real financings these are real financings that are in the works, and we're excited about it.
Would you both recommend this conference to other exhibitors or to people who are in a similar field as you are?
In a sense, I guess you don't want all your competition to come here, but we're going to be here next year, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I understand that you've been with this conference last year and this year as well, both as a presenter and as an exhibitor. Can you tell me why?
I felt it was a method in which we were able to reach out to a lot of small water systems that gave us a lot of exposure, plus we were able to introduce our association to a lot of the people that were here. We focus on improvement of small water systems and wastewater systems, and it was a great opportunity for them to understand more about what our programs consist of.
Do you feel that you met people here that were helpful to you?
Oh, everybody from engineers to small towns with 35 service connections. I felt it was a great vehicle for both the exhibitors as well as the people who attended it.
Is this something that you're going to be able to recommend when you go back to your job and to your association? Would you recommend that other people come here next year?
Oh, most assuredly. The first one, we were involved in a lot of meetings. I saw it come from last year to this year, over 300 people, over 25 exhibitors, so it's getting a lot more popularity. And I feel it's something that, it was a great vehicle for the people to understand more about financing as what's available to them, an opportunity to understand the grant process, loan process, to improve their small water districts quite a bit.
Now, did you sit in on some of the workshops that people went to?
I did, as a matter of fact, and some of the comments that I heard from a lot of people were a lot of the mystery of the grant and loan application was taken away. They understand it more. It's more of on a human level. People look at government entities as a mysterious way in which to go about money. They keep hearing about it, but the more exposure and people being involved in it, they understand a lot better, I feel.
We have Headquarters EPA and Region 10 EPA, but you have real names, right?
Yes, I'm Len Bechtel, and I work with the Public-Private Partnership Initiative at EPA Headquarters.
And?
I'm Carolyn Gangmark, and I work with the Public-Private Partnership program in Region 10 in Seattle.
Now, I'm going to guess that your agency thought well enough of this conference to be sending people both from headquarters and the region. Why is that the case?
Well, we were excited to have an opportunity to talk to local government leaders about the potential that public-private partnerships have for financing environmental infrastructure. And this conference brought a lot of those leaders to us in one forum, and that to us was a worthy, and we were glad to be able to co-sponsor this event.
Oh, I was just glad to meet all the people that we work with in Region 10. I wasn't aware that there were so many state programs that funded infrastructure, and it was just nice to put names and faces together and meet all of them.
So you both came here primarily to present information, is that correct?
Yes, we came to present, but I think we walked away with a lot more. The value of this conference was a reality check, letting us know what's really needed, and now we can go back to our jobs and work to really meet the needs of these local governments.
Did you get a chance to meet people?
Certainly did. Made some valuable contacts, and people that I'll be talking to over the phone will seem more real, and I'll be more aware of their problems as individuals.
Now, do you think you'll be able to either come back next year or recommend to other people to come back next year?
I definitely anticipate that my office would like to participate again next year.
I like this conference so much that I would like to see it happen in the other 3 states that are in Region 10. I'd like to take this as a blueprint and use it elsewhere.
Now, I've been told this is the only state in the Union doing this kind of a finance conference. Is that your experience too?
Certainly in terms of the global experience, bringing all different kinds of agencies to work together, yes.
Yeah, I'm Mark Ray. I'm with RDB Beck & Associates. We're a Seattle-based consulting engineering firm in downtown Seattle. We've come over here for several reasons. I think the most important is to gain some information that we can take back to our clients and that we have throughout the state of Washington who can benefit from the programs and funding programs that are offered here.
Franco Fensk, did I say that right?
Finsky.
All right. Can you tell me, what do you think you're getting out of this conference? What services do you plan to offer to people?
Well, I think just like what Mark was saying, that our clients are cities and counties, and for us to do the job that we want to do is we need to be as informed about the programs as the cities, so that we can help them put funding programs together for their important projects. And I think another thing goes along with this whole thing, what we're seeing coming together is a lot more interlocal participation, having to work more with your neighbors than probably we've ever done before because we can't afford to do things by ourselves. So, and I think that's what this group is doing. It's kind of rallying a lot of people together that have money, for instance.
Now, do you think this is something that you're going to participate in next year? Do you think the circumstances will be similar?
Well, we started last year, and we felt that it was worthwhile. And with new programs, really, you need to be a part of it every year just to keep current with what's going on because it's not stagnant. It's changing.
And so many of our clients are smaller to medium-sized clients. They don't always have the resources to send their people here, and I think they really look to us to come back and provide them good, solid information that they can use, and it's a real benefit to them, and it's a benefit to us because I think we grow and they grow at the same time. We try to form a partnership with them and work to improve society, and that's what engineering is all about.
Well, that's great. As a Corps of Engineers person, I kind of agree with that. Now tell me, did you make personal contacts that you feel were worthwhile?
Yes, in fact, we made several personal contacts, some of which were people that we're currently working with, and we met some new cities and counties that have problems. So often these smaller communities, they don't have an engineering staff, and it's real difficult for them just to put the application information together because they don't do cost estimating, for example, so they don't even have an idea how much these projects are going to cost to even ask for the right amount of money.
So we've been able to connect people who need your services with you, is that correct?
You've done that as well.
And when we talk about smaller cities, but I think this program benefits everyone, large and small, because the programs that are offered here. I sat in the solid and hazardous waste funding program today, and that applies to all cities and counties and other special districts that can really use that kind of money
for the programs they need to implement, that they not only need to plan, but that they need to implement. So I think it's a real, this program here is a real good benefit for all.